Hello students, today we are going to see how D flip-flop works. See, as the name suggests, it has only one input, that is D. See, in the previous lecture we have seen that how SR flip-flop works. In the SR flip-flop there are two inputs. Now with these two inputs there were only four possibilities. Now if you look at those four possibilities, then those four possibilities were 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. So truth table of SR flip-flop says that when S and R are 0 0, there is no change in the state of flip-flop. When S is 0, R is 1, flip-flop goes into reset mode. I mean to say that at that time Q becomes 0. When S becomes 1 and R is equal to 0, flip-flop goes into the set mode. So Q becomes 1. But when there is a high input for S and R both, what happens? Flip-flop goes into invalid state. So this is invalid state because Q becomes equal to Q bar, and this condition is not valid in digital electronics. Q must be opposite of Q bar. Fine. So to avoid this invalid condition, and so see, if we see that this invalid condition is not at all useful in our case, right? When both are 0 0, there is no change in flip-flop state. So only two states are meaningful in this SR flip-flop, that is when S is 0, R is 1, when S is 1, R is equal to 0, right? So either you have set state of flip-flop or reset state of flip-flop. So with a view to for the implementation of only these two states, D flip-flop has been invented. So in this D flip-flop, see what we have done is, with this two input, we have connected one inverter. So when you apply here D is equal to 0, automatically here another input becomes 1. When you apply D is equal to 1, another input becomes 0. So always two inputs of this two NAND gate will be invert of each other. So these two cases are only possible, either 0 1 or 1 0. So if you put 0 here, this becomes 1. If you put 1 here, it becomes 0. Fine. So let us take the case of D is equal to 0. So this becomes 1, right? Now we know that what is the logic. Let's say assuming the clock is having the positive edge. See, the logic of NAND gate says that if any input is 0, right, your output becomes 1. So by default, due to this 0, your output becomes 1 here. Here both the inputs are 1, so output of NAND gate is 0. So here we get 0 input, here we get 1 input to the third and fourth NAND gate. Now if you assume that let the present state of this flip-flop is 0. If the present state of this flip-flop is 0, this 0 is transmitted to this input of fourth NAND gate. Now 0 0, any input is 0, your output will be 1. So Q bar becomes 1, and this 1 has been transmitted to this end. For 1 1, your output is 0. For NAND gate, if you have both the inputs at high logic, your output will be 0, right? Now let us take the other case. If you assume, let's say your present state is 1, then instead of this 0, 1 comes over here. 1 and 0. See, because this input will be always 0. And if you have any input which is at 0 logic, your output will be always 1. So your Q bar will be always 1. Right? What I want to say is, if any input is at 0 logic, your output becomes 1. You do not need to bother about what is your other input. Fine. So always your Q bar will be 1. Right? So if your Q bar is 1, by default your Q becomes 0. Right? You don't need to check the conditions. If your Q bar is 1, obviously your Q should be 0. Right? So if you assume your present state is 1, then also your next state becomes 0. I mean to say that in the D flip-flop, you need to remember a logic that whatever input that you apply, the same output you will get. So if you apply 1 here, you will get 1 here, right? Using the same logic. So this D flip-flop is also known as a delay flip-flop. This delay occurs due to the transmission of these bits, or due to the delay of between, or propagation delay between the this for the transmission of input towards the output using this delay of NAND gates. Fine. So it is also known as delay flip-flop, or it is also known as data flip-flop, because whatever data you are transmitting, the same data you are getting, right? Now what happens, let's say if you are transmitting 0 here, right? If you are transmitting 0 here, and if you make your clock is equal to 0, what happens? If here 0, obviously your output is 0, right? And if you make your clock is equal to 0, your flip-flop becomes 0, or it becomes disable. Now what happens when your flip-flop becomes disable? It means whatever present state your flip-flop is having, the same state will be there until your clock becomes 1. Fine. So it will goes into the memory stage, right? So in that way we can store the data, so that it is also known as data flip-flop. So if you want to make the truth table of D flip-flop, because it is having only one input, only two possibilities are there, either 0 or 1. Right? Now using this logic, if you apply 0 input, you will get 0 output. If you apply 1 input, or if you make D is equal to 1, you will get 1 as output, same output, right? So these two are the inverse of each other, so this becomes 1, this becomes 0. Now if you look at the characteristic table, what it says, it is the reflection of all the combinations that we have verified over here in the circuit diagram. So see, when your D is equal to 0, either your flip-flop state can be 0 mode, or it is in set mode, because see, flip-flop is a sequential circuit, and you must be aware of that fact that if when you on this sequential circuit, we cannot assume that it will be in which state initially, right? So when you put 0, it may be possible that your flip-flop is in set state, or it may be possible that your flip-flop is in reset state. Similarly, when you put D is equal to 1, these two states are possible. Fine. So if this is your present state, and if this is your next state, right? So what will be the next state if this is your present state? But we know that logic from the truth table, it says that whatever input that you apply, same output you are getting. So if you apply 0 here, you do not need to bother about what is your present state. Similarly, cube n plus 1, it must be equal to your input. So here it will be 0, here it will be 0, because 0 input you are applying, here it will be 1, because 1 input you are applying, it will be 1. So from this we can say that Qn plus 1, that is nothing but it is equal to D. So this is your characteristic equation. Now if we look at the waveform of D flip-flop, let us understand it using waveform. As we have assumed initially that it is positive edge triggered, let us note down these are the positive edges, right? And this is the input that I am assuming, right? So with this input, see what is my Q. If I assume that my next state is Qn plus 1, according to my characteristic equation, Qn plus 1, it must be equal to D, right? So initially, let's say my input is 0 here from this waveform. So my initial output, let's say it is 0. But when the positive edge comes, right, then only this input is applicable. So now whatever 0, if this is 0, your output will be 0 continuously until it has the next positive edge, right? So it will be 0 until this. Now from the next positive edge, again your flip-flop is going to look at what is your input. Now here my input is 1, so my Qn plus 1 becomes 1. Now it remains 1 until the next positive edge. At the another positive edge, it will again look at what is my input. Here input is 0, so your output becomes 0 until next positive edge. At the next positive edge, again your D becomes 1, so your output becomes 1 until next positive edge. Now here 1 continues, so it is going to be continue to the next positive edge. So in this way our flip-flops are working. So D flip-flop is one of the most important flip-flop. It is the easiest flip-flop It is used as data flip-flop, delay flip-flop, right, to store the 1 bit of data. Fine. So if you want to store more bits, you have to use more number of flip-flops. So this is a D flip-flop on the working of D flip-flop with truth table characteristic equation and the waveform. In the next lecture, we will see that how JK flip-flop works. Thank you students for watching this video.